Court is calling 2022 CR 5349A, State of Texas versus Paul Harley Duncan. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Scott McClung from Mr. Duncan.
Are you Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense under count one of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance? Penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that's a first degree felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense under count one of possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver. Penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. Punishments be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication and community supervision. They will take in consideration 2022 CR 5350. There's to be $114 restitution to SAPD for testing, and there's to be no contact with Christopher Rodriguez. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Judge, that's
Your Honor.
not. We were opposing deferred, and I think we're recommending.
Ah,
I think it's written correctly.
We're opposing deferred, but
oh,
recommending.
sorry. That's me trying to make sure everybody's on their toes.
You got it.
So you guys caught it. All right. Did you understand that the state is recommending community supervision? Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement? Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state.
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses, well, to the lesser included offense of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence.
Yes, Judge. State would offer state's exhibit number 1.
No objection.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
No, Your Honor, we'd like to see Senator's report.
For what purpose?
They're opposing deferred. We're applying for deferred.
All right, so what is his criminal history?
Minimal criminal history, Judge. The main reason for our opposition to deferred is that there was 252 grams of controlled substance in this particular case. Obviously, he was facing up to a minimum of 15 years based on that amount. We believe that in this particular case that probation is more the appropriate remedy just based on the 252 grams. It is, whatever that is, it is more than 30 times the minimum to be a first degree felon.
Okay, so with regards to the PSI report, is the PSI report going to change the amount of drugs?
No, Judge, but I would like time to possibly present evidence for you to consider. If the court's inclined to give him deferred today, then we don't have any reason.
I mean,
to
I
do
don't
so.
see what evidence is going to be presented to the PSI report that's going to show me anything other than what his criminal history is.
It may not necessarily be in the report, but it could be in the form of live witnesses to support him or other materials.
So then do we need a PSI report? Then what we need, it sounds to me, is a reset date for you to have witnesses here, because otherwise this sentencing is going to take place on November 28th.
Okay. would the court let me know whether you're inclined to grant the deferred today without?
I mean, if you have witnesses to present to the court, I'm just wondering, what is a PSI going to tell me other than what I've seen in the police report?
Nothing, that he has no history other than that minor.
So then it would be an issue of you providing witnesses to the court.
Yes,
So my question is, do we really need a PSI report, or is
No.
it just that you want witnesses presented to the
Yeah.
court?
I don't care about the report itself, no.
All right, so, Ms. Ferguson, they don't necessarily, well, they don't need a PSI. Are you then not requesting a PSI report?
Correct.
All right, so they're not requesting a PSI report. He just wants a chance for his witnesses to be heard on his application for deferred adjudication. So what date can we give them? No, just, how long will it take you to get your witnesses?
I'd have to consult with him. I was counting on a 30-day, Judge. I don't know. I'd have to talk to him. He's from Austin. I don't know if people are from Austin, if any. I just was assuming it was when, if there wasn't a deal for probation, there was going to be another setting for sentencing.
All right, October 31st?
Sure.
All right, and if the state has no objection, if he has witnesses that are out of county or out of state, would you have an
Objection
objection?
to that, Judge, to
Yes.
Zoom or?
So they can appear by Zoom.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll come back on October 31st, because otherwise, Mr. Duncan, you will be in limbo till November 28th, okay? So that will be at 9 a.m. We'll see you on October 31st at 9 a.m.
And so you don't need him to have the type evaluation done before the meeting?
No.
Okay.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 5349A, State of Texas versus Paul Harley Duncan. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Scott McClung from Mr. Duncan.
And are you Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Duncan, you entered a plea on to count one, the lesser included offense of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. You entered a plea of no contest. We were scheduled on October 31st, but you were ill, so we brought you back today. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication. The state is recommending community supervision. Just one moment off the record. Mr. Curtis, I'm going to put you in the waiting room until your attorney is ready for you. So just wait there for us, please. All right, we're back on the record. The state is taking in consideration 2022 CR 5350. There's to be restitution of $114, no contact with Christopher Rodriguez, and of course, the length of probation time is outside the plea bargain agreement. Are both parties ready to proceed, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there any witnesses from the state,
No, Your Honor.
defense?
No, yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Duncan.
Are you going to call Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Duncan? All right, Mr. Duncan, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to need you to keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Paul Duncan.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Duncan, Paul, you're asking the judge to give you a deferred adjudication in this case, is that correct?
Yes,
Do you have any prior criminal history?
no, I had a misdemeanor charge back in Arkansas in 91. It was just fine and release, and so doing that.
Other-
No, sorry.
Other than that misdemeanor in 1991, no prior criminal history?
No.
Are you now and in the recent past undergoing any type of physical or mental health issues?
Yes, I've back in, I guess it was the end of 2017. Actually started earlier that year when I got a call from my parents' doctor saying that their care was going to have to be taken over by the state if I wasn't able to step in, and they lived in Arkansas where I was born and raised. And so fortunately with my ex at that point, or with my partner at that point, I was able to take over their care and travel back and forth, taking care of them. And probably about 9 months into that, my mom got terminally ill and wound up passing away in August of that year. And then
What year was that?
I believe it was 2000, 18. And 2018.
And that's when you lost your mother?
Yes,
And in the year to year and a half after that, did you suffer other personal losses of people that were close to you?
yes.
What was that?
My father at that point decided he didn't want to be around anymore. I had them, or had got them set up in a assisted living center there in Arkansas or in Fort Smith, and sold their house for them and got all their affairs in order, and had them in a nice assisted living center there in Fort Smith. And they just, or he especially, was very unhappy with the living situation and not being able to be out on his own. And then when my mom passed away, he just didn't want to be around anymore, and ended up falling a couple times, and then in a nursing home where they weren't changing the catheter that he was receiving at the emergency room after he had fallen, and wound up got a call from their original doctor that had called me asking me if I would be able to take charge of their care. And she had seen that he was in the emergency room again, and asked if she could step in and take a look at his case. And he wound up that she ordered a spinal
Well,
tap.
I'm going to interrupt you at that right now, and I appreciate you explaining these things to the court, but really, if you can just kind of
Okay.
try to listen to the question, just answer it directly instead of
Okay.
too much narrative. And my question was, after your mother passed, did you suffer other losses? And who were those that you lost in the year or year and a half after that?
I lost my father in January. He passed away the Friday before would have been their first anniversary apart. My kid's mother passed away that following January. And then my partner passed away the May after that, and in that same year. And those, that starting with my mother was kind of a big emotional and mental spiral for me, because I was also having a lot of home issues that was causing me some.
And by home issues, what do you mean?
Two relationships that were very mentally and emotionally destructive for me.
Do you have children?
Yes,
And how was your relationship with your children at that time?
it became pretty much non-existent. My kid's mom was very detrimental to my relationship with the kids, and they had issues. They had issues. Of course, they were traumatized very much by her passing as I was, but that brought to light a lot of the past issues that we had tried to work through together and are still working through today.
And so did that lead at that, up until that point, how were you employed?
I was project manager for a construction company, and then also Connie and I owned an insurance agency and a retail shop out in Burnett County.
So were you living a good, stable life, your income
Yeah.
good?
Had a home that was paid for, had three businesses, and then my work as well.
After those losses that you suffered, and what toll did that have on your mental health? Have you been diagnosed with mental health issues since then?
Yes, I've been seeing a counselor and working towards, I've got an appointment on Wednesday with a counselor there at Family Elder Care in Austin to get set up on some of the programs that are available. That they're gonna go through an evaluation of my history and my situation.
Have you been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
Yes,
What are
depression and anxiety have been a big issue from pretty much from the time that my mom passed, and have been on several different drugs trying to, keep that under control on the anxiety side.
So you talked about a spiral. So for the last 3 years, did these issues that you've had with your mental health and personal issues and your losses result in you losing your job?
Yes,
Did they result in you having trouble with relationships in your life?
yes,
Did they lead to the case that's made the reason we're here today,
yes.
is getting yourself involved with that?
Yep.
At this point, are you asking, as part of, even if it's not deferred but regular probation, are you asking the judge to order supervision and support to treat your mental health issues?
Yes, I would very much like that.
And you're currently living in Austin?
Yes.
You also have physical issues, physical
Yes,
health issues?
I have seizures, and as part of those seizures, I have 7 compression fractures in my back that cause me almost constant pain. That's a lot of times I'm moving and rocking back and forth, because I have only one of them they caught in time to be able to do a kyphoplasty surgery.
Is that why you missed court last week, was the
Yeah,
seizures?
I had a seizure and also having some digestive issues, which then they found they found that I had some blockage in some of the artery or blood vessels in my abdomen, and are gonna have my doctor look further into that. And also, that's, I go to Vivint Health, which is, used to be AIDS Services of Austin, because I'm HIV positive, and so all the issues related to that have just kind of compounded into a sore way of issues that keep me on the run. They've been trying to get me.
Okay, you're throwing a lot out there, Paul. You said there's issues with the HIV positive, and what do you mean by that? What kind of issues is that causing you in your life right now?
Well, it has caused me issues as far as being able to be in public a lot of times during the COVID. They tried to get us to make sure that we are up on our vaccines and are wearing masks when we're out in just like general public. And then being around other people, I've tried to find work that in my field that's work from home or remote type of work, and that's been successful so far and worked out better in dealing with that.
Are you looking forward to whatever conditions, programs the court will order regarding not only your mental health, but any type of substance use issues that you may have or may have had? Are you willing to and open to abide by any of those conditions?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk to the or mention to the judge?
Just that I want to express that I've definitely, once this issue happened back in December, that my life changed dramatically at that point, and it's not been easy, and it's actually been much more difficult, in many ways, especially most of those people in support and core friends that I thought I had have walked away, because a lot of them were in relation to the drugs and to that issue was more along the financial side than it was anything for me personally doing the drugs. It was more of a financial thing, trying to soften the blow of losing my job and all the issues that I was having on my home front. So just want to make sure that that's clear, and it's not, I understand and I know that the drug is a problem for anybody and everybody that does it. And I see that, and I see so many times when people sit there and say that it doesn't affect them or doesn't, bother them in that way. And you can clearly see that they're altered by it, by the results of it.
Are you in communication with your children now?
I am starting to get back in communication with them. I've gone for about almost 2.5 years without being able to talk to them on a regular basis, and not necessarily due to the drugs, but due to just our relationship in general and my life in general.
And so you're talking to them now?
Yes.
Where do they live?
In Arkansas,
Is it-
outside of Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Is it your hopes that ultimately you can move up to where they live in Arkansas and be part of their life?
Yes, because my daughter's in, her health is in really poor condition right now. And she's got 3 daughters and is going through another divorce, and is desperately, needing, since her mom passed away, desperately needing me to be there closer, and I've not been able to because of this. Okay, feel a lot of guilt for that.
That's what.
Sir, just really briefly, did you have an opportunity to look at the drug lab for this case?
The drug lab,
Yes, sir.
I don't believe so. Yes.
Okay. Would it surprise you that one of the items that was found in regards to this case, it was 253 grams of what tested positive for methamphetamine?
It's probably not.
And then there is one other item that was tested, or 2 other items that were tested. It was about 75ths of a gram of cocaine. Would that surprise you?
I didn't hear you. How much of a
75, 0.75,
0.75?
3/4 of a gram.
Okay.
Horrible math. And then finally, would it surprise you that the last item that was measured, it was about 14.5 grams.
Nothing.
Pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, any follow-up questions?
No, you are.
All right, so I have 2 questions for you. One, if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And before you answer, know that you are going to get a drug test today.
I do not know what the results will be.
Well, let's start with this. What have you been using?
I stopped using meth, and that's pretty much what I was using, period. As soon as this case happened, I faltered a couple of times over the time, and I was telling Mr. Crum out in the hall that my son has had issues in the past with addiction and
Okay, so time
There's
out,
been one.
time out, because let me just tell you what is happening here. What is happening is I'm asking you a question and you're not answering it.
Okay.
All right, so my question is not about your family. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to that in a minute. My question, everyone, you need to make sure your phone is off. That's okay. My question is, you're gonna get drug tested today.
Yes.
You said you're unsure what the result's gonna be. So my next question to that is, what could you possibly be positive for? That's my question.
No, the only thing that I could be positive for would be meth, and that would be not having done it recently. I think my last stint was about 57 days, I guess.
No, here's the thing. If you use meth 57 days ago, you shouldn't be positive.
No.
I'm going in on it.
So how could you be positive for meth if you used it 57 days ago?
No, I said my last stint or stance without using it was 57 days. And so I had.
So here's the question. When is the last time you used meth? You are going to be drug tested today.
Yes,
The state has agreed to you having probation.
Mhm.
So I'm inclined to follow that probation. When I'm asking people about their drug usage, I'm trying to figure out where you are in your sobriety. So what could you be possibly positive for today? You've answered meth. My question for you is, when is the last time you used meth?
Thursday evening.
Now, was that so hard?
No.
All right. So here's the thing. You've got to stop avoiding people's questions, because at some point you're going to have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I did listen to your testimony. I internalized everything I hear. And a lot of what I heard from you is how you need to be on probation, or you need to get this because of other things happening in your life. You need to help your daughter because your daughter has children. You're not a good person to be helping your daughter right now because you're not clean and sober. Do you understand?
Yes. All
right. My next question is, when did you stop having employment?
My last full-time job was with Patriot Directors, and that was August 2019,
All right.
and I was on unemployment for more than 2 years throughout the COVID situation.
So you were using these drugs, I guess, for use and to supplement your income
I was using during that time.
and to supplement your income?
Yes,
All right. And how many grandchildren do you have?
5.
And what are their ages?
They range from 15 down to 2.
So are you currently employed or no?
No.
How are you supporting yourself?
Contract work and friends, working with friends and on jobs that they do.
And are you asking to remain in Bear County, or are you going to go to Travis?
I live in Travis, so I would prefer to be there.
All right, so Mr. Duncan, you had a lot of drugs, and I always tell people, when you're having a bad time in life,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be making people's lives miserable, right?
Yes.
So you're selling drugs. Guess what you were doing? You were building your happiness off someone else's misery. And the amount of drugs that are in this case, the court is not going to grant you deferred adjudication. You understand? I'm going to follow your agreement and give you probation. The court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. There's $1,000 fine that will be probated. Take in consideration 2022 CR 5350. There's $114 restitution to SAPD for laboratory testing. There's to be no contact with Christopher Rodriguez. Transfer to Travis County There's to be regular reporting to probation by Zoom or in person. We're going to do the UA hotline until further notice. TAP evaluation. We'll follow the recommendations of TAP evaluation. If the TAP evaluation recommends inpatient treatment, then we'll do intensive outpatient treatment. And I think Travis County may have their own drug program. If they have a felony drug court in Travis, see if he can be referred to their felony drug court. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And as Travis County does it, I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month until further notice. If Travis County does the field visits and within 3 months they see everything is fine, then they can do it as they see appropriate. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from me, Mr. Duncan, in order to be successful?
Just the support on the mental health side of things and working with like I said, I've been working with and working towards a plan on that with my counselor and my case manager there at Vivint Health.
All right, so we can do a MIC evaluation. That's a specialized caseload, so they'll be able to address the mental health issues. And you're to sign a release of any mental health doctors that you're seeing in your case manager. That'll help probation coordinate things with them, okay? And I'm not going to order, the state is requesting 200 hours community service restitution. I'm not going to order that because I want you to keep up with your mental health issues and keep up with your drug issues, okay?
Thank you.
All right, anything else you need from the court? All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. Mr. Duncan, I'm serious. Everyone goes through life with mental health issues. People have ups and downs with their families. And what you hope for is that people don't take advantage of you. And by doing what you did, you took advantage of other people and you tried to build your happiness off of their misery. And what I mean by that is you are more concerned about your finances and not concerned with the people that you were hurting. All right, you need to think about that. And when you get your drug treatment, all the people that you need to apologize for not being in their lives, not being the great grandfather that you should be, not being the great parent that you should be, you need to apologize to them. You understand? All right, good luck to you, Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.